In this lecture, we're going to show you how to add icon and launch images to iPhone and iPad. Be sure you download the files for the next lecture. I'm showing you a list of files that you need to create for iPhone app. The required icon is icon.png. You notice that Apple requires all the icons to be saved in PNG. I also include the size for each icon type. For the required icon.png is 57 by 57 pixel. If you like to support iPhone 4, then be sure that you include icon at 2x.png. Whenever you see at 2x, it's referring to iPhone 4. The icon supporting iPad is called icon-72.png. When you see 72, it's referring to iPad. The biggest image file is called iTunes Artwork. It's 512 by 512. You notice that there's no file extension. That is right. You don't need to save it as JPEG or PNG. This is a file that you include into your project for ad hoc distribution. The same image you will need to include for app submission for the App Store. To support iPad, the only required icon is called icon-72.png. On the other hand, if you want to support Universal App, you're required to include both icon.png and icon-72.png. Inside Xcode 4.0, when you open the project, in the Project Target Summary tab, this is where you add icon.png for iPhone, icon at 2x.png to support iPhone 4. The additional icons you will include into the project, and we will show you how in the next lecture. On the same Summary tab, you will need to add the default.png and default at 2x.png. You also need to go to the info.plist to include all the icons you add to the project. The only file that you don't need to add is iTunes Artwork. I'm including a guideline if you want to go back, but I will show you the steps in the next lecture. The screen size for iPhone and iTouch is 320 by 480 pixel. For iPhone 4, the size is double. The screen size for iPad is 768 by 1024 pixel. To support the iPhone app launch image, you need to create at least one image called default.png. Again, you're required to save all the launch images in PNG. And this default.png is 320 by 480 pixel. To support iPhone 4, you also need to include default at 2x.png. To support iPad, the files has to be PNG. For landscape is 1004 by 768 pixel. For portrait is 748 by 1024 pixel. You notice that the landscape and portrait size for launch image are not the same as the screen size 1024 by 748. If you don't create the launch image the exact size, your app will be rejected. To support iPad, you need to include at least two default.portrait.png, default-landscape.png. The other three files are optional. To support the universal app, you need to include all these four launch images to support both iPhone and iPad. Inside Xcode 4.0 Project Target Summary tab, this is where you add the launch image. Here, this is where you assign the device orientation. When you click on the next tab, this is the same as the info.plist. There's a key called Supported Interface Orientations. This is where you're showing what and which orientations you choose. At last, you want to go to your viewcontroller.m file to look at the method called should auto rotate to interface orientation. Here, this is where you define the default device orientation and also support auto orientation for iPad. How do you decide what app should you choose? Universal App is an app that you write once to support both iPhone and iPad. Now I'm going to help you with a rule of thumbs. Only consider Universal App if your app content is fluid and resizable, like text-based content, or this is heavily targeted to UI web viewed. The design pattern are repeatable like image or videos. If you wanted to design a elegant, beautiful iPad app, it's better to develop a separate app to target iPad.